to all the comic fans, Marvel geeks, and all the nerds in between. Welcome to another episode of the new and improved Vigilante Vibes, where we talk all things Marvel along with other fandoms, but without the toxicity that's taken way too much space in each and every fandom. I'm your host, Megan Nicole, and today we are going to lift up nerdy voices in the LGBTQ community by having an episode of lifting all nerdy voices of the rainbow. Introducing one of my first guests, Becca.
Hello, I am also known as the superhero critic. I'll stay super as long as you stay awesome.
That's amazing. Well, thank you
uh,
for coming on. I'm so excited you're here.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm a huge nerd. First things first, I am a trans woman.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, from there, I've been doing YouTube for about 10, 14 years, give or take.
Goodness.
Uh, I started doing fan made music videos, but then it turned into gaming videos, and then I wanted to do something I knew, and it was comics, and I was obsessed. Like, I am obsessed with superhero movies way before the superhero movie craze started. Um, so I've been reviewing superhero movies for about 12 years now. Um, this Sunday will start my 12th season of reviews,
Wow.
close to
Congratulations.
close 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 to like 325 episodes
Oh my God. Wow.
from Marvel movies, DC movies. Um, I've done I've reviewed the Turtle movies. I've reviewed Power Ranger stuff, comic books. I have a couple of different shows that I run. For example, one of them is called One Season Wonders, and it talks about superhero shows that only lasted one season. Um,
That's pretty cool.
then then um I've done a couple of videos. I plan to do more eventually, but going back to the whole representation thing, I've done a couple of videos in regards to trans women in superhero media. I've done one episode on Alicia from Batgirl,
Okay.
Batgirl's roommate. I've done one on Dreamer from The Flash or from Supergirl, who was a lot of people don't know she was the first trans representation for superheroes in TV and was
Wow.
actually played by a trans woman.
Oh, I
Uh,
love that.
a lot of people and a lot of people don't know that, but and then I've also done one on one of my favorite series called Alters, which is a 10 issue mini series about a trans girl who's not only hiding the fact that she's trans from her family, but also hiding the fact that she's a superhero from her family. So it gets very dark.
Oh, wow. I got to check that out. I haven't actually heard of that.
It's about 10 issues. It, it wasn't Marvel or DC. It was an indie comics called Aftershock.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you heard of them,
Mm-hmm.
but it only lasted 10 issues because once it actually got going, it got backlash and was forced to cancel.
Of course. I should have guessed. Unfortunately, that's just that's just insane to me. If you don't like a comic, just don't read it. No reason for the backlash and all that. That's insane. That's crazy. So, what are some of your favorite characters that you feel, besides Dreamer, that you feel properly represent? It could be a trans character, a bisexual character, but which ones do you think give the best representation?
Well, for trans, honestly, Alter, the character's name is Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
She at the moment, we really don't have a lot of representation, especially Marvel and DC. For DC, the best representation is Dreamer. They did bring her from the Supergirl show into the comics, but they haven't really had any focus on her.
Hmm.
And for Marvel, there's no one to my knowledge.
Oh, there's Escapade.
Oh yeah,
Oh, and for DC, have you read Galaxy the Prettiest Star?
I have not. You'll have to send me that.
Yeah, so I had the writer, a DC comic writer named Jadzia Axelrod on my show. She's a trans DC comic writer, and she wrote a lot of Hawk Girl and then brought in her own character she made, Galaxy, and that is a trans character. And she says the her comics, they're from DC, are the gayest thing DC has ever produced or published. So,
I
and
will definitely have to check that out.
yeah, and she's such a talented writer, and I love seeing that representation and seeing someone be able to write that and it being accepted. And I think you'd really dig it. It's really good. She's very, very talented.
Yeah, I'm not a writer, but I am very critical
Hmm.
in terms of thinking. I am in the process of writing something that I hope to get published one day. It's not going to be a comic unless I can, get someone to help draw it because I can't draw a stick figure with a ruler. uh, but I'm actually in the process of writing a series about a transgender teenage girl. Um, and she gets her powers. I don't want to spoil too much of it. But it's going to be called The Diary of Skylar. So the
Wow.
book's going to be written as if it's a diary,
Hmm.
and basically she takes down the four horsemen of the apocalypse throughout the series.
Oh, wow. That's really cool. I like that. So, you're a film critic and you've been doing it for a long time. What is the best movie you've ever critiqued?
It depends on what you're looking for in that terms
What
of
your
criteria.
favorite, like what you like the most?
Well, a lot of first things first, I am very particular when it comes to DC. I have not liked a lot of DC films.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm not big on the everything has to be dark and gritty. Like I
The
could not
Snyder
stand the
verse.
Snyderverse. I could not stand the Snyderverse. And if you watch my videos, superhero critic is a character. They hate everything. So they are nitpicky. Um, they'll take shots at everything. They joke about everything. But a lot of movies nowadays I've enjoyed, like in terms of DC, I did like Blue Beetle. Uh,
I like that one too.
um, however, I am very looking forward to the new Superman movie coming out. It
Yes,
looks
that
so good.
it looks so
Looks
good.
so much better than Man of Steel did.
I have to think of the Snyderverse. I liked the films. I liked the casting, but in my head, they're all variants of the actual heroes themselves. I
Yeah,
That's not Superman. Cavill did such a good job. The casting was all so great, but that wasn't it. So in
it
my
was
head,
brooding.
it was just a different variant of them. But this Superman, this feels like Superman to me. It feels like hope and positivity, which is
Feels
what
like
Superman is.
it feels like Christopher Reeve again.
It does say it. That's exactly it. Yeah.
Um, I do love Tom Holland's Spider-Man. He's really great. Um,
Yeah. He's my favorite
seeing No
one.
Way Home, seeing No Way Home in theaters was great. Like I never, I don't get giddy, but that was one of the first times I ever got giddy at a theater. Um, I did see the new Sonic movie.
What is your
Uh,
opinion on those?
I've enjoyed the Sonic trilogy since the first one. I'm a huge Jim Carrey fan. In fact, Jim Carrey and Robin Williams are the two comedians that I've looked up to my whole life.
Mhm.
They are uh, the two comedians that really got me into doing comedy.
Okay.
So seeing Jim put all of his efforts into being Robotnik, it's just great.
I say
Uh,
this is peak Jim Carrey. Like those movies
but
are
out
so good.
but outside of Marvel, outside of the main two, I'm a big Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles nerd.
Okay.
Uh, Ninja Turtles has been in my life since I was born, to the point my first words were purple turtle.
Oh, that's adorable. That's so cute.
um, and I've been a huge Power Rangers fan. I've been watching it since the first season. I've watched every episode. I have been going through and rewatching all the Sentai, uh, because I haven't actually sat and watched the Sentai versions. I've only
Mhm.
watched the American version.
Okay. I believe I've only seen the American version myself.
They're a lot darker.
The Sentai version is.
Yeah, for
Oh.
example, in for the original season that we got, the Green Ranger is killed by the end of the Sentai season. And that's why they didn't have a lot that's why they didn't have a lot of footage, because he's legitimately killed.
Oh my gosh. That hits a little close to home there. Oh my goodness. That
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, I don't want to watch that. So,
Well,
you
it's
you
kind of a heroic way though.
it's still sad, Becca. So, you said that you really liked Spider-Man No Way Home. What other Marvel movies are you into? And is there any comic characters you want to see brought into the Marvel movies?
Um oh, that's a tough one. In terms of Marvel movies that I would love to see, I want them to redo Ghost Rider, because I could not stand Nicolas Cage's films. They were so bad. And I am a huge Nicolas Cage fan.
The first
And
one tried so hard.
I if you watch my review for it, me and my friend Rob that we reviewed when we reviewed it, we refused to call the villain Blackheart because he did not look like Blackheart. He just looked like straight uh we called him My Chemical Romance throughout the review.
Oh,
Um
it was
but
interesting seeing Blackheart being brought into a movie because it's not a very well-known character, but then when they brought it, I was like, "But why? That's a
they
what
yeah.
what did you guys do?"
Um as for, you know, Marvel characters, they've done all the main things. But I would love to, actually. I have not liked a lot of the X-Men films. I'm looking forward to the X-Men reboot. Um, I would love for them to actually do more stuff with Hulk, but the Universal is strict and complicated with that. Um, but there's a lot of non-Marvel and DC shows that I feel should have films, because I
Oh,
feel like I personally feel like we are Marvel and DC'd out. Like they
okay.
have basically done everything that they could. So right now, it's part of why a lot of people feel like we're just in this superhero lull. because they're just pumping out sequel for sequel, and
You'll
we're not
you'll
really.
you'll never hear me complain about it. So if that's how
Yeah,
you feel, I get it.
well,
But what
it's
shows?
but like go back to the 90s, and there are so many superhero cartoons that were really popular in the 90s that could really make good movies right now, like Street Sharks, Biker Mice from Mars, VR Troopers, Beetleborgs, all those kind of things. Revive those franchises. They were all about making money back then. Now, so it would sell franchises that have basically been on the pause, I guess you would call it.
An indefinite pause.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
like, Big Bad Beetleborgs, that was a really good show. Um, Stuff like that would be good.
Hmm.
Um, Give us a live action Gargoyles.
Aren't they?
It's been up in the air to my knowledge, but
I want to say they are. I believe so. Man, I
maybe
don't. I don't want to be wrong because I'm gonna look like a real dill hole. Um,
because I haven't heard anything from that. But I would love for that to happen.
was it a?
But I know they're making another Spawn reboot.
They are. Yes.
Um, they can always reboot the mask and actually make it rated R like the comics.
Oh, it was a live action gargoyle series. So like, I'm only
Um,
like half a dill hole.
so you're the dill.
I guess that's the best part to be.
But in terms of Marvel and DC, like I'm liking where DC's going with the new Gunverse. I
Hmm.
haven't sat and watched Captain Commandos or Creature Commandos. Random video game reference. No, I haven't sat and watched Creature Commandos, but I hear it's good.
It is. It's very.
Um,
It's very edgy. It's very James Gunn, but I really like that he started his DCU with such an underrated team. So no one went into it with already having something on their mind to compare it to. I thought that was genius.
um, I I want a Flash movie that did not have Ezra Miller in it.
Yeah, me too. I
Uh,
want them to bring back Grant Gustin. I
I-
think he is so good
he
as the
was
Flash.
perfect.
There's right. There's just no going better than him. We don't
I
deserve him.
see, and I had thought about doing a review, sort of like that, where talking about how I would have done a Flash film,
Yeah.
and you have the ability to do so much. Get Wesley Shipp, get Grant Gustin, use Ezra, whatever. It could have been a great endpoint to where the Flash show ended. Continue that storyline, focus on the three Flashes doing a Flashpoint, but instead they focused on, Keaton. And don't get me wrong, I love Michael Keaton as Batman. But I sat through that movie, I was like, I'm just watching Batman with the side of Flash.
100% they brought in Keaton to take the heat off Ezra and say, look, if you see the movie, I'll give you Batman, the one you like. And it's like, that's smart, but also like rude because I don't like Ezra. I don't want to see Ezra. I watch for Keaton.
Yeah. Um, but some of the stuff that I have planned for review stuff, um, I have a lot of scripts written right now. I'm trying to do something new. It's I've kind of like not looked at a lot of shows, but I've wanted to. So I'm kind of starting with something I know, and it's kind of be retrospectives of full shows. and I think I've got a 9-page script for the first season of Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends
I
from
love
1980s.
Oh, I thought you meant the new one. It's Spidey and his amazing friends now.
No,
That is such a
not no, the 80s version, not the
first
I had
the new one
no,
is so good. You guys just don't get
I
it.
haven't actually watched it yet.
It's so cute. It's such a big deal in my house. And then Iron Man and his amazing friends is coming and I'm like, I'm going to raise little nerds. I'm so happy.
My boys love it.
Oh.
Um, but the first episode of season 12 is actually a double feature with a friend of mine, reviewing both Captain Marvel and the Marvels.
Mhm.
And then February is my usual. Every year I do what I call Gameuary, and it's where um, I review either comic book or like video game related stuff. Stuff. So I've done like Detective Pikachu,
Love
um,
that movie.
uh, big Pokemon nerd.
I was trying to figure out what that was.
It's
This
a Pokemon. It's a Pokeball, but with it's
I
a number
see
13.
I see I was seeing it from an angle and I was like, but like you just don't ask because sometimes that's
Oh
so
yeah.
cute. I love that. Sometimes
Uh,
people give you a deeper meaning like, "Oh, it was my
no,
dead
it's just a Friday
grandmother's
the.
it was my dead grandmother's
It's just a
favorite
Friday
flower."
the 13th nerd tattoo.
Love it. I love nerdy tattoos.
But I've done stuff like Street Fighter comics, Mortal Kombat comics, because
Oh,
I
wow.
do the actual. I also review actual comics,
Okay.
but I usually do old stuff that no one really talks about.
Oh, I
Um,
like that.
uh, then I'm working on mainly because I want to knock out the whole trilogy since they're already out. I'm doing Sonic 2 and Sonic 3. And then in March, I plan on reviewing the RoboCop films.
That'll be interesting.
I'm calling it Robo March.
That's amazing. That's perfect. That's so funny. I
Um,
love that. You're going to be a
and
very busy woman this year.
yeah, and back to the whole trans representation. Um, every May, I do Batman reviews just because there's so many. I just focus it all into one month. So Batman.
Of course.
um, but this year, I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's called The People's Joker, and
I have, but I
it
don't know where I've heard it. I don't know why I've heard it. I have,
the
but I go ahead.
People's Joker is a film. It's kind of a parody on the Joker and Batman, where the Joker is a trans woman,
Okay.
but the Joker is the hero of this universe instead of Batman being the hero.
Oh, I like that.
So I plan on reviewing that because who better to review it?
That's true. I look forward to that review. I'd love to know what you thought. So, what do you do for June?
I don't really have anything. I don't have any set things other than this year has a Friday the 13th, and I have since about 2018. I have reviewed every Friday the 13th comic series,
Oh, wow.
and this year's Friday the 13th is going to be Friday the 13th versus Leatherface,
Oh,
which
my.
was it was like a 3-issue miniseries.
You've really thought all this out. My gosh, I don't even know what I'm
I
doing tomorrow.
actually I actually have my schedule is set up all the way till 2027.
Oh my gosh. Wait,
I
I
do
made up
one.
an episode today, and I was like, oh, I guess I'll drop it tomorrow. Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
I've been doing it since 2014.
It's true.
When I first started, kept I when I first started, I would do like two a week
Mm-hmm.
because at that time I really didn't have anything else to do because I didn't have my kids at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Then my kids were born. So I dropped it to one a week, and then my divorce happened.
I'm sorry.
Eh, I'm
Okay.
remarried and way better off
Oh,
than I was.
oh, congratulations. That's so
Oh
nice.
yes, they're actually in the other room.
Oh, that's nice.
But I ended up having to. There's a couple of seasons I've only had maybe one a month
Mm-hmm.
because past couple of years we've been having a lot of issues, mainly monetary, and we've moved a couple times.
That's understandable.
So, and with everything going on in the world, my depression hasn't really helped,
No.
which is part of why I feel like some of the episodes are not as good as they could be, but meh.
Yeah, but it's real, you know? Like, we all go through things. You just heard my kids scream from the other side of the house, you know? Like, we all have things. And I think being open and honest about it and what you're going through is a very strong thing to do.
Yeah, especially in this day and age.
Yeah, because right now with everything going on in the world, it's a very dark time for a lot of people. And that's why I'm even doing the series. These voices need to be raised. Your voice needs to be raised. So I really hope you do really well with your reviews and make something you're proud of because you deserve to be proud of it. You deserve to be happy about what you make. It's your outlet. It's your thing. It's a part of you.
Couldn't say better.
So, before we get going, why don't you tell my listeners where they can find you, where they can follow all of your critiques?
Well, I'm on a lot of social media. I'm on TikTok until that's gone again.
Again.
Uh, so TikTok, Threads, Facebook, and Blue Sky are all the same uh tag. It's Peanut the Ranter. And then my YouTube, where my reviews are, is the Critic Buffet. Or just look up Superhero Critic,
Okay,
and
well,
just look for the girl wearing a superhero costume because in the videos I actually wear a mask and a cape and
do you really? That is so cute. I love
uh,
that.
let's see if I can find it. It Here's the mask.
Oh, yeah, I did see that. I did. That is so cute. I love that. So, I'm so happy you're on. This was so much fun to actually get to talk to you because we've been talking for a while on Threads, where I believe that's where we met, not Instagram first. The two kind of meshed together for me, so I never know.
Oh, I think I found you on. I think I saw one of your comments on something, but
I ca-
I don't. It's been a while.
It
I
is.
don't
We have,
remember.
yeah. We have talked for a while now. So thank you for coming on. I'm so excited that we finally got to talk. This was a lot of fun. I like to see what you thought of all these different nerdy things. And it was just fun to nerd out with you.
I'm always up for whatever.
Well, you're welcome back anytime. It was a great time. So, wherever you're watching or listening to this episode, please check the show notes right under it so you can find the links to where you can find Rebecca's critiques, all her platforms, everything, and then you can keep up with her too, just like I do. So, thank you for listening to this episode of Vigilante Vibes. Wherever you're listening to the episode, click that subscribe button so you don't miss any one of my amazing guests or any future episode. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed it and you have a marvelous night.